Today I just want to give you a brief update from the most recent news from the Department of Home Affairs. I referred to written answers of the Minister of Home Affairs to the Parliament, actually. So Parliament has a couple of working groups or committees, and they occasionally request information from the ministers. And that can be obviously with personal appearance, but also in written responses. So in one of these most recent responses, and I can really recommend to read it, some shocking data was revealed. Now, it's not really anything new to us because unfortunately we see it every day, but it's good to hear official data from the minister and to maybe put it out there into the public and make it clear that what you all experience is a part of a bigger picture. So according to the written statements of the Minister of Home Affairs, currently there are 56,543 applications outstanding. Even better, he indicated that they will clear the backlog in the middle June 2024. That's not next year, that's in 1.5 years. Okay. I'm not quite sure how they calculate that because in the next 1.5 years there will be more applications submitted. So that's a problem. The other interesting fact was that in the statement they seem to be focusing a lot on critical skills. Okay, so he says 4 to 10 weeks processing time for critical skills. It's probably true. It's true. But they must maybe ask about the high rejection rates at the moment, because my personal experience with critical skills is now that firstly, there's a very high number being rejected for ridiculous reasons. And number two, there should be way less applications being submitted for critical skills. So if anybody, by any chance of this committee in Parliament listens to that, the core question is really, where's the trend with critical skills? Because of the more restrictive interpretation of Home Affairs and the professional bodies, I expect that the numbers of applicants applying for critical skills will be dramatically reduced. And the second important question would be to ask, what's the approval rate? Because number of applications means nothing for the economy. I mean, if 80% or 60% are rejected, then we're still not attracting highly skilled people into the economy to grow it. Okay, so that's that. He also indicated that 8 to 14 weeks for business visa and general work visas. That might be the case. 14 weeks is obviously way too long in international terms and even in Africa terms. All our neighbors are doing it in much shorter times. 14 weeks is just too long. It's just not competitive. But what's more worrying is that in the statement, nobody speaks about spousal visas, for instance. And at the moment, we're experiencing 9 to 10 to 12 months delays on spousal visas. May I just remind the dear viewer that there's a constitution and there is the unity of family and it's protected. How on earth can you wait for 12 months for your spousal visa to legally reside with you or continue legally residing with you in South Africa and potentially even be able to work, because you can apply for a spousal visa with an endorsement to work? Okay, 12 months, 9 months, absolutely unacceptable. Minister doesn't say anything to that. Nobody's focusing on that. They're all focusing what the president said. The president said, we want to grow the economy, we're going to be attractive with critical skills. And also the president said in February that we will introduce the digital nomad visa. Now on that, the Minister of Home Affairs also had an update and basically said, well, there's no plans to introduce one. So contradicting the president completely in his State of the Nation address of February, the Minister of Home Affairs indicated that our current legislation does not accommodate the digital nomad visa. That's 100% correct. I totally agree with him there. But I mean, one can obviously change the legislation, but that's a process and nothing has started there. So I don't think that in any time soon the digital nomad will be introduced, which would be highly beneficial to the country. And as a matter of fact, most countries in the world, not most, but a lot have it already. You know, so just South Africa is just lagging. And it's not really contributing to the economy. But yeah, that's the statistics. So 56,000 people are waiting for their visas and no change there. So yeah, I don't think the situation is improving. It has actually deteriorated under the current Minister of Home Affairs quite significantly. And just the last comment, I'm doing immigration now since 20 years. The current situation is the worst I've ever experienced in 20 years. The adjudication is shocking. The general attitude towards foreigners is shocking. There is no service delivery, and as a matter of fact, Home Affairs is not even following their mandate to implement the current legislation, because they're executive, they should implement current legislation. They're not doing that, and obviously they're not growing the economy or doing anything to facilitate mobility, to improve the economy and contribute to the growth of the economy. That's it for this rather depressing update, but speak to you soon. Bye.